Nickel and I decided that Clover would get the fourth and final ticket. Action remembered that he has unlimited tokens, and he purchased a fifth one. Off we went. Nickel, Daiquiri, Clover, Action, and me. The line to get into Sound Village was here, there, and everywhere. People were pushing each other like bumper balloons to move forward. Ladies wore outfits that Anatomia had worn in the past. These were hardly outfits at all. There was a lot of stringy lace and a lot of fake alien blood. That's pretty much it. I would not be wrong to describe the scene as a sea of booties and lady bumps. Some girls went the extra mile with their hairdos, and they even let doves and fruit bats dwell in nests of hair on top of their heads. This was classic Anatomia fashion. Some guys wore red, skinny swimmers and white contact lenses. Then they would wear jackalope pelt hats and beaver coats, or beaver vests, or beaver scarves. They would put beavers all over themselves. This was Slingshot style. I'll hand it to Slingshot. His lyrics are stinkers, but I'm not a fan of those jackalope hats. I personally opted to wear a top hat and a bathrobe. Oh, and don't forget my movie star shades. This outfit was my own creation. Daiquiri dressed in theme of NDP's first and most popular album, Vamps vs. Laser Ship. She had fake vampire teeth and fake neon green alien blood that she splattered all over her body. The cherries of her lady bumps were covered, not really covered, with see-through fruit roll-up suspenders. The suspenders were attached to a camouflage thong. She kept an alien killer utility strap wrapped around her upper thigh. Nickel didn't know what to wear, and this is the kicker. He let Daiquiri dress him. She got him to wear exactly the same friggin' outfit that she wore. I found this both hilarious and hard to look at, as he did not necessarily fit into Daiquiri's teeny tiny undies the way she did. Action came dressed up as a safari guide with a pair of binoculars hanging around his neck. He also wore roller skates. I don't understand what led to that decision, as I quickly learned that Action was not a talented roller skater. Clover just wore an unbuttoned flannel with her normal everyday undies. She did not dress to the nines like Daiquiri. She was still in awe of the whole scene, though. The longer we waited in line, the more guys would offer Clover their beavers. They were hoping for something in return. Once we got into Sound Village, we moved our scantily clad tails to the backstage entrance. We showed our passes to the Protector of Things. The Protector of Things looked us up and down, mostly Daiquiri and Clover. Then he let us in. When we got in, it was crazy sauce. Something between a queen's ball and a cheap strip club. There were emerald gem floors and tree trunk pillars. Some people were drinking Princess Ace champagne, dressed up in their fanciest threads. Other people were taking numb nun eye drops to get into slumber party mode, or snorting comet dust puro so they could grow space antennas and zip around like rockets. We walked through the hallways and asked for autographs from everyone. Even if we didn't know who they were, they looked famous, so we asked. Finally, we saw four people that made Clover and I make seagull sounds of excitement. It was the musical band, the Steel Dentures. What? Yeah, I'm not making this up. This group was my favorite growing up. They're less popular these days, but they used to be massive. Anyway, they're 40 million times more full of talent than NDP. If they were turkeys, their stuffing would consist of 20% bread and figs and 80% talent. We ran up to them and asked for autographs. The lead singer, Juice Cosa Nostra, looked at us like we were hilarious. "That's all you folks want?" he asked. He's so cool. He was like, "I can sign your asses for you, or I can give you something worth your while." He pulled out a magical starfish. My jaw dropped. I was about to get nautical with the Juice Man. We were all like, "Yes, let's do your idea." So Juice found a table and we chopped up the starfish and munched it. Crazy things happened next. Clover and I started swimming through the air like fish. Daiquiri and Nickel just started making out. Action just said, "Extra, extra, read all about it," the whole rest of the night. I kid you not, the entire night this mother lover thought he was a paperboy. Juice and the rest of the Steel Dentures laughed hysterically. "You guys are wild," he said. Juice Man said I was wild. If the night ended there, it would have been enough to be the best night I ever had. But it only got better. Clover and I swam close to the ceiling, and we all followed the Steel Dentures around the backstage. They introduced us to all the other bands. I would swim down to shake hands with the artists we met. So would Clover. Action would look into their eyes one at a time through his binoculars and then scream, "Read all about it!" Juice thought that was the funniest thing ever. I didn't get it at first, how the band didn't feel the magical effects like we did. Then I realized, they probably eat magical starfishes for breakfast, night, and 24/7. The effects are probably ineffective on them at this point. Finally, Juice brought us to the main eventers. Narwhal Disco Party was right there in front of us. Anatomia, Slingshot, and the three other musicians that no one cares about. Daiquiri went silent and stiff. She was starstruck. Juice was like, "Hey, Mia." Whoa, he calls her Mia. She was like, "What's up, Juju?" She calls him Juju. "These guys are our backstagers. Come say hello." Anatomia started walking towards us, observing our faces. Slingshot and the other three followed. "Damn, Juju," she said to him. "You got these kids sailing the seven seas, huh?" She could tell that we were under the magical spell of the starfish. Daiquiri was still silent, but she grabbed Nickel's hand and started squeezing it relentlessly. Nickel's face became tomato red, both because Daiquiri was holding his hand and also because she was squeezing it so hard that she could have broken his jambons. "Introduce me," Anatomia insisted. "Well, I don't know their names yet." "You trash puppet," Anatomia said. "You've already gotten them into seafoodoo voodoo, and you don't know what to call them?" "They're the high five." "I'll give your face a high five," Anatomia said. She looked up at Clover and me. "How you doing up there?" I was like, "I'm super duper." And Clover was like, "Fantastic." Her reply was better. I should have said that. Anatomia asked us what our names were, and we told her. Then she asked the others. Action just looked at her through his binoculars and whispered, "Extra, extra, extra," under his breath. Nickel answered like a normal Nickel would. When she asked Frozen Daiquiri, no name came out. Anatomia went over to Daiquiri and kissed her on the lips, causing her to almost faint, but also breaking her spell. After that, Daiquiri went into a hurricane of words. She was like, "I'm your biggest fan, you're amazing, blah, 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 titty-da." Anatomia was shocked from how much praise she was receiving, and I think a little turned on. She kissed Daiquiri again, and Nickel got jealous the second time. I could see from his face that he was jealous. It was a real kiss the second time, not a wake-up kiss like the first time. Just when things looked like they were about to get mucho interesting, the Steel Dentures had to open the show. Juice said, "See you in a bit," and they went on stage and played what could have been the theme music for the creation and end of time. It was as amazing as I could have ever imagined, the sounds that made my youth worth hearing. My ears had an orgasm, and a shandy with a smoke. Juice Cosa Nostra was the coolest dude to ever hold a microphone. Narwhal Disco Party should have opened, and the Steel Dentures should have been the main event, not the other way around. Once their set was over, the whole dimension called for an encore. Being the ego-fueled V12 engines that they were, the Steel Dentures answered the call in badass fashion. They ran backstage and grabbed Narwhal Disco Party and us, the high five. Juice led us to the front of the main stage. Clover and I were swimming above everyone. I swear it felt like reality wasn't real. Juice said, "Let me introduce to you guys my new friends and my ex-girlfriend." The crowd went insane. Holy Simon Says, I didn't know that Anatomia and Juice dated. Anatomia took the microphone from him and said, "Why do you have to bring up the past, Juju? You and my girl Daiquiri have got me itching for the hump and bump." A volcanic eruption of cheers broke out. Anatomia thrust her hips at the crowd. Everything was everything and nothing. My mind was peanut butter and spaghetti in a blender. I was just treading air above the whole scene, looking into a universe of enjoyment. "Open up your earballs for some sexy, mother-loving music," Anatomia then screamed. She picked up a guitar and started playing a song. Not just any song. It was the Steel Dentures' most action-packed thriller of a song, the one that skyrocketed them into the heavens of music when it was first released. It's called Forked Tongue, from their album Siamese Love Affair. Anatomia was playing Juice's greatest hit. They were collaborating. Existence was complete. She played it better than their own guitarist. Juice started singing and Slingshot joined in. The duo was actually fantastic. As I mentioned, Slingshot's voice is a thing of beauty. When singing a well-put-together composition, it was understandable why he was a star. All of the musicians in both bands started playing together. They shook us with their raucous, tuckus, rocking ruckus. I'm sure all of Fuchsia was gyrating and getting aroused. I straightened my body out all stiff, and Clover stood on my back. She rode me like a surfboard and surfed through the sound waves above the crowd. Her unbuttoned flannel shirt fluttered around like wings from her back. Action roller skated to a microphone and started singing, "Extra, extra, read all about it," to the tune of the song. A security guard ran after him, and he tried to roller skate away. He tripped and fell on his face. It was a mess. It was the greatest thing I had ever experienced.